Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first rebooted episode of the Solo RPG Workshop. It is 2025, so Happy New Year. In this episode, I will be going over some recent updates to my Havoc system. There has been some notable changes, also some update to language and a few changes to the rules. Nothing severe. Still has the same core 5 abilities. But after that, I will then talk about my recent obsession with 3 specific games, and that's really it. This will be a very informal video, which all my workshop videos are and will be, because they're fun. It's just to sit back, chill, relax, and just talk RPGs. Also, I didn't mention this on my top 10 uh, 2025 resolutions, but I may want to explore live streaming coming up with one of these episodes. So I will post a community note about it and potentially schedule a live stream for this weekend. If everything goes well with my work, my life on the side here, then it might work out. That way, at least a few of you can see and hop on and we can chat. But it'll be a RPG workshop episode, not a solo play. But with that out of the way, let's begin with the changes to the Havoc system. So with my ugly mug gone, we're looking at here the web-based form of the Havoc system. So, like I said, there has been some simplifications to the descriptions of the game itself, the roles. Character creation is about the same. You still have the character name and concept. I changed the style of the language to where it talks to you as if you're the player character beyond this first part here. Please ignore if there might be some spelling errors because this is never in a final version. It's been for my eyes only and you guys as I recap some things. So now it is called ability cores. You start with 5. You have 10 points to allocate, and you can do up to +5 maximum per core. You still have hardy, agility, valor, optics, and craft. Now, instead of the specialty, I changed it to a perk. So the perk grants you an advantage during gameplay, but basically not a 2d20 roll. It actually grants you a reroll possibility. However, you must accept the second roll no matter what. This basically emphasizes the chance of risk. Next is health, which is about the same, 3d6, but I let you add, you choose the highest die roll, the highest 1d roll. I should probably put this here, 1d die roll, 1d result, plus the hardy core. I don't think I had that before my last revision. Hardy is up here with constitution, fortitude, and stamina. And I also changed a few terms regarding armor. We'll get to that in a second, but it says armor plus may negate some incoming damage without affecting your health. So instead of luck, I call it luckies. The guide can choose to give you up to 3, so it's about the same. You can re-roll things, recover health, reset focus and center, and I suggest using poker chips. Then there's pace. This is going to change possibly. I can never really figure out a term to represent your movement, move, pace, speed. I'm still deciding on the 3. So this may change in my next video or my next playthrough. Basically, in a combat round, your pace determines your number of spaces you can move. One space is 5 feet. The total is 4 plus half of your agility core. So that is an addition to, I believe it's an addition or a modification to the prior. If your ability core is 0, which it can be, if you don't distribute any points, I don't have a minimum because you're just rolling a d20. You're not rolling my prior engine, which was at or below a set score. This is just a modifier essentially for your d20 roll during Havoc rolls. So you can have a 0, which means it's just 4. Okay, so I split a couple things here in defense. It is now, I've done this before. I went back and forth between the two, but I'm now Between evade and block, these are your two defense mechanics when you're in combat. Your evade determines your ability to evade incoming attacks. I should say avoid incoming attacks during combat. I don't like repetitiveness. The base evade is 5 plus the agility core, which makes sense. Your block determines your ability to block is probably maybe tank or take, let's say tank incoming attacks during combat. The base block is 5 plus the hardy core. So you have two different abilities for both of these, or one per. Now there's armor plus. So you don't have a, how should I say this? One set defense number to roll at or above for the enemy to hit you. Your armor is your second line of defense. If you fail either evade or block, your armor plus is the quality of your equipped armor, which negates incoming damage. Damage exceeding your armor plus is then dealt to your health. That's it. I changed it from the past term to now travel pack. Your travel pack has a 10 item capacity, typically starts with a melee weapon, light armor, rations, light source, all named according to the setting. Additionally, you start with 3d6 of money. The focus slider is about the same, tracks your resilience, begins in the middle. It's up to the guide. Okay, so here's where most of the changes have occurred besides the parry or the evade and block. When you attempt a risky action, yell Havoc and discuss your goal with the guide, who will tell you which core to use. Roll a d20 plus your core against the guide's difficulty threshold 5 through 20. If your roll matches or exceeds the threshold, you succeed. Roll 20 is perfect. If one is a fumble, both may impact your focus slider. I'll just say focus. Combat's very narrative. Okay, so here's combat. Combat is fast and narrative driven. Typically involves you against an adversary known as a threat. Typically, you would act first against them. You can attack, defend, move, use an item, or anything else that makes sense. Some special actions may require approval from the guide. A threat is based on a rank level and represents a difficulty to attack them. When attacking, decide whether a melee or range attack. Roll a d20 plus relevant ability core. Might just capitalize both of these. Hardy for melee, plus range, agility for ranged, agility for range. The total roll must match or exceed their rank to effectively land a blow. Roll your weapon die to deal the amount of damage. When defending, you decide whether to evade or block. The guide will roll a d20 against your chosen defense type. If their roll matches or exceeds, they will roll a weapon die against your armor plus, if any. The remaining damage is dealt to your health. So the language in this one is debatable. I think it's straightforward. It might be a little packed in some areas, but I think this is suitable, especially for me. I understand what's going on here, but there's perhaps I might need to mm, verify a few things here or expand on, evaluate. For now, this is fun. I feel like I'm missing something vital. There is some transitions here that are not subtle, or how should I say, too subtle. Decide whether to evade or block. The guide will roll a d20 against your defense, your chosen defense. I might just take that away. If the roll matches or exceeds, they will. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, so essentially what I did, if their roll matches or exceeds, then their attack lands. Kind of like up here, how I say the total roll must match or exceed their rank to effectively land a blow. This one, their attack lands. They will then roll a weapon die against your armor plus, if any remaining damage is dealt to your health. Okay, so that's the first big two modifications I made to the mechanics. Magic is about the same, some changes in the lingo, nothing really different. Healing is about the same. Again, I changed it to your perspective as you're the character. Death Incarnate's about the same. Focus, a few things I cleaned up a bit. Nothing really much changed. Again, every single section I changed from when your character or your character, a character, I made it to where it's you. You're the character. reading these rules. And I hope that doesn't really scare or confuse readers who, if I decide to release this, which I want to, that is my goal for this year, but I really got to perfect this and continue to improve it. Luckies, I just kind of changed the term and fixed up a bit. We got three luckies. Okay, advancement has changed a bit because of the new character sheet layout. Basically, you level up. It's based on milestone system after a monumental task of sorts. Plus 1d6 plus hardy to your max health, so it gives you a little extra bump. Plus a full heal. Plus 1 to any ability core, max of 10 allowed. Uh, Almost, actually, I'm going to take this away because I think I already stated that in the beginning. Also improves the pace, evade, and block because it does. Any ability core, uh, so let's say may improve. There we go. I'll put this in italic just because it's a notable mention because if you improve hardy agility, it will improve some of these. Okay, now let's look at the character sheet. So the character sheet has made a few changes here. So there's the perks as usual, the circles. There's your Havoc. Health is now compacted to this one, compressed into this one box to make room for pace, evade, block, and armor plus. So these four right here are the major additions or revisions. Mainly evade, block, armor plus. Travel pack, the new name. I removed that gray background that was kind of getting in the way. Focus hasn't changed. Health is you can do current max or max current, however you prefer it, but I had that little divider here to help. And that's the character sheet. That's it. It's a 5x8, and it's just been kind of slowly improving. But I feel like my game has improved, matured. What I want to do next, before my next, probably a few episodes from now, is add a expanded rules section or optional rules. Basically, what I was thinking is one, if you miss, if you fail to block, not evade or pace, or sorry, not evade, but block, you can tank all the damage from your armor, but it destroys your armor completely. That's what I was thinking for an optional rule. I did have it before recording. I did have it where you can actually do that, but I'm like, I'm going to actually push that back to an optional rule. So that's one of my ideas, and it's a very luckily it's not too advanced. It's an extra trait you have to consider, remember, especially when doing solo play. Okay, so that is Havoc, my Havoc system, and now let's move on to my three current obsessions, RPGs. I've talked about these games before. I think I've talked about two of them out of the three. I talked about this one on and off every so often, Savage Worlds. But this is the Explorers Edition from 2009. Something about this compact, the look of it, the mechanics of it, I really do enjoy it. I've just been reading it. Haven't been playing it, just been reading it. And I know it's not the current version. Avengers Edition, which I do have, is the current edition of Suede, is a current edition of Savage Worlds. But I like the older, at least the look of the fonts chosen in the book, the color theme. The rules are again straightforward, simple. Bennies, and you have the wild die, you have the wild cards, extras are the NPCs, all that stuff. It's all dice rolling at a 4 with modifiers. You have your skills, you have your traits, all that stuff. Hindrances, edges. It's like GURPS mixed with other game, another its core engines. So actually, it's much like GURPS, just with dice rolling instead of set numbers that you roll at or below. So, but simplified. I mean, GURPS can be simple. It just takes a while to make your character, but after that, with math, it's a fun game. But again, Savage Worlds is a fantastic RPG. It's somewhat light in the rules. Took me some time. Still is. I'm still learning it. Combat is, I won't say sophisticated, but it's intense. It can be very quick, deadly, and fun. But combat definitely has a large amount to read or to look through. You don't, you can always house roll things. Skill checks are straightforward. Out of four, usually you can explode die. Your ace, your dice, which explode. You keep rolling and you keep getting successes on top of that. And it's just the fact you have a wild die, so you can choose a better roll, the d6 compared to whatever skill die you have in your trait. But it's mainly I just enjoy the fonts, the colors of it, the themes, the pictures, the compact, almost 5 by 8 or so size of it. So it's pretty good book, very good RPG. Definitely my favorite of my ever-growing Savage Worlds collection. Next, I recently acquired this game. It caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to be so sophisticated, but this is based on basic role playing. It's a Chaosium, I think, Call of Cthulhu. This is uh, the Keeper's rulebook, which is mainly what you need to play, even solo or play with as the character, player character, or the investigator. But this is a D100 roll under system. It's skill based. You have X amount of points based on your profession to allocate to your skills, and then you have an extra set of points for personal skills. It's a really fun game. Been watching a lot of live plays, let's plays of Call of Cthulhu. My knowledge of the Cthulhu mythos is okay. I played that Cthulhu game, the board game. And I've done a video. It's solo, but it's definitely two for 2+ people. I think it works better for 2+ people. But Call of Cthulhu is based on the basic role-playing engine, if that's what it's called, or Chaosium is the company that makes it. And I have basic role-playing, but that one is far more sophisticated. The character sheet's far more populated, but still fun game. But this is a variant of it. Same company, I believe. Chaosium makes them both. So it's a great for investigative. There is combat. I do acknowledge that. Might be quick, deadly, because you are playing a grounded, realistic character, human. You're only playing human, I think. You encounter mythos of Cthulhu, cults. You have to fight them. You have to investigate. You can have all these professions: cop, you're investigator, PI, a reporter, anything. And the D100 mechanic is fantastic. You have luck. You have your attributes that intertwine with your skills at times. You can build your character up, and it emphasizes the game focuses heavily on your backstory, on your likes, your favorite person, your favorite location, stuff like that. So it's a great game. The book is pretty big, that thick, and it also has the little these little things here to keep track of certain very important pages, like the half and fifth uh, skill difficulties. So you have your skill number, which is again D100. You have a number, so your skill computer, for example, 30 or 40%, and then you have a half of that calculated, then your fifth of that calculated for two. Those are two difficulties when rolling, as deemed necessary by the keeper. Keeper is the game master essentially. So when you're rolling, and if it's a difficult task for whatever reason, you roll at that half mark, the half of your character of your skill, or fifth is very difficult. There's also advantage and disadvantage. It has to do with a advantage is an extra tense die that you choose the uh, lower roll. Disadvantage is the higher roll. That's it. But there are pages here to help you with the math as far as determining if you're writing. I'll get to that in a second. Your quick reference chart for half and fifth values. All of that. So this is a very helpful page, especially when you're in process of your point allocation. So there was something else I want to talk about this game. I completely forgot. There's a lot to it. There's characters, there's enemies in this game, there's the professions, and oh yeah, that's right. So the website Chaosium, I know I'm mispronouncing that, but anyways, you find the character sheet. There's a form fillable character sheet that has calculations built in. That's a fantastic concept. If you don't like doing the math, if you want to save up the time, if you have friends you're playing with for one day, to save compact the time amount for character creation, that even though it's integral to the game, you can still focus more on the actual gameplay. The form is very handy because it automatically calculates the half and fifth level of the skill points allocated. And there's also sanity, there's also hit points, HP, stuff like that. It has all the usual RPG elements, but it's breaded for Cthulhu. So this game is, yeah, I'm falling in love with D100, the D100 mechanic after reading this, and I have a tendency to jump ship a lot on mechanics anyway. So that's evident if you've been keeping track of my um, Havoc system. The last, but definitely not least, and I talked about this, I might have talked about it. I have definitely made a video about this. RuneScape, because it has the skills in RuneScape Kingdoms, I should say, has it the 21 skills, I think, based on the game. It's been a while since I've actually played the game, but this is a very rules-light game, and I really enjoy that it has skills, not just the three abilities that come with it at the start, but it has those 21 skills to really expand on that, and you roll at a target number or below for success. I think it's a pretty success game. So your three abilities, you have, I think, 8 points to build your character. Just trying to find the section for character creation as I ramble on here. But basically, um, when you build, you choose those 8 points to allocate. Then you have a set amount of points, I think, based on your profession or your background, that gives you uh, points already for your skills. And so when you want to do a skill check or ability check, however you want to call it, you add the core ability with the skill, and that equals the target number. So 3d6, as you advance, you can improve those skills. But I'm having trouble. There we go. I found the background. So got this game couple months ago. Attributes, you have three: strength, agility, and intellect, which I at the moment don't have them apparently. You have 8 points to distribute. Must have one in every attribute, and then you can do all the skills from the game based on. Again, I'm hoping I'm not mistaken here, but those are the 21 abilities based from the game. I've talked about this already, so I don't want to do a full review. But again, what I do like about it is how combat's handled. You do all the rolling. The game master, whatever they call it, does not. But the difficulty of the enemy does impact your roll based on their size. So -1, -2, or +1, +2 if they're small or easier to hit. I should say, well, it changes on if it's attack roll or your defense roll. But you do all the dice. You do all the rolling, and then the damage is based on what you roll at or above or under, however you want, whatever we're talking about, either attack or defense, the target number, and they are discalculated on the base damage of the weapon plus the difference. I love that. That's something that I don't see too often in RPGs. So that's RuneScape Kingdoms. I hope I didn't call it RuneQuest by mistake, because I do have RuneQuest, but RuneScape Kingdoms, another great RPG that I have yet to. I made a character, but I have yet to play in full. So, um, that's really it for today. If you guys want to see me do this live, I definitely will have to need, I'll definitely have to have a plan, like an outline of what I want to do, what I want to achieve, things to cover. Not like a full script, because again, this is all informal. But I definitely need to have an outline of things to talk about, topics, especially live, because I hope there is interaction. I hope people hop on, 5, 10 people at most. Again, I'm not expecting a whole crowd, a whole, the population of this village behind me, but it would be nice to have some interaction finally with you guys, with my viewers out there, because I noticed again my channel is ever slow growing, which is fantastic. 442 subscribers, so thank you to all of you for subscribing. I don't have a Patreon. I don't do this for money. I don't have a sponsorship, which is completely evident. I don't have any backers or donations. I just do this completely for fun. No budget whatsoever, just my time and the interest of playing RPGs. So, also, there is one thing I want to mention. I didn't mention this. I don't think I talked about this in my resolutions. My friend Ryan, we've been campaigning. We've been doing a campaign. I control 4 characters. He's the DM. This is D&D 5, 5e rules. That's that's what he prefers. We've tried other systems, but that's what he wants to stick to. We've been campaigning the Bastard Company, which was I think my first video I did with him and another friend. where we both controlled. Well, in the first video, I controlled four characters, and then our other friend of ours came in the second episode to control the other two characters, just to make it easier on me. But since that short-lived series, The Bastard Company, we have been doing a side campaign in person, not recorded, just for fun, for a few hours a day or so. Every time we meet up, the past, I want to say 6 months, it's been going on for a while. Every other Sunday, every few times a month, and it's been progressing. My character at least got my characters have I've lost one. One has died, unfortunately, but I have three characters left. I have a fighter, and a sat or a rogue, and a wizard, and they are at level 3. So definitely have done a lot. It is similar. The story is similar to the original, which is three. It's exactly the story is similar to Suicide Squad from DC. They're but in fantasy, Middle Ages. So three prisoners are given the mission to stop an evil force, an adversary, from destroying the kingdom they come from that they're prisoners of. So the king and his adversary or his advisor uh, put a spell on the team, a unbreakable spell that binds them to a contract to complete the mission, or they die. Like in DC Suicide Squad, their heads explode. That's basically what it is. So these three are whether these three are like wrongfully accused, wrongfully arrested, whatever they're actual criminals. I haven't fully expanded on that yet in the story, but we've definitely made strides. We definitely have done a lot. So when we record, which we'll do, my GM Ryan will hop on. We'll do it through Discord. You see my ugly mug with the character profiles. I'll have character sheets on D&D Beyond. You'll have off the side here. I'll be talking blah blah blah. You'll hear his voice of God, and we'll do like what we did before, once a week or so, or a couple times a month. So I'll be bringing that back to the channel. That's not solo, but it is D&D. So I mention that as an announcement in this video, and I'm excited. But the problem is, you guys will be hopping in very much later in the adventure. However, or I should say, Ryan will do a recap, a very generalized recap. A lot has happened, but generalized recap what our team has done. Like he'll give you the basics, like the team did this with these guys, accomplished this, killed that foe, blah 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 blah. And we've been all over the place on Theme of the Mind in his map, in his ideal world. So the Bastard Company, that's the name of it, and because they're called the Bastards, it's they do the dirty work, and definitely have done a lot and a lot of role playing. So it's been really fun, and it really brings me back to missing at times doing group play of D&D, of RPG, whether it's D&D or not. But again, I still prefer solo. There's always that shift in the paradigm of things. So that's coming back. In any event, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.